Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my bullet journal. My name is Norvia and this is my very first video, so I'm very excited to introduce myself to you all. As I said, my name is Norvia. I'm 24 years old and I'm currently a college student getting a degree in cybersecurity. In my free time, I like to work on my bullet journal, read, and spend time with friends and family. I'm starting off my YouTube journey a little late, but better than never. I originally wanted to start with January of 2025, but it took me a little while to learn how to edit and how to film things. So I decided to scrap January and just go in with February. For my February theme, I chose a purple fantasy kind of theme. I went through all my supplies and just pulled out anything purple with hints of pink and blue and put it all together and pulled out what I thought would make a cohesive theme. The starting spreads that you'll see me working on are my quote and cover page. I like to start any theme off that I do with an inspirational quote. I like to pick quotes related to the current season that I'm in or something that relates to the theme that I'm working on. I chose this quote both because it's aspirational and because it mentions winter. I live in Michigan, and so right now it's very wintry, very cold, and so I thought this quote was fitting. After the quote page, you'll see me working on my cover spread. This is kind of just an excuse for me to use up more decorations and is kind of the introductory page of the theme that I look at whenever I flip back through my journal. The supplies that I use are all linked in the description, and I was able to find links for everything except for the purple label that I'm going to write February in. I bought this a couple years ago on AliExpress, and I've looked in multiple places, but I can't find it, so I'm sorry about that. But everything else has links and can be found in the description box. The next spread that I flip to is my calendar spread. I like to have my calendar start on a Sunday, so that's what you'll see throughout this spread and the rest of my journal. Also, it depends on whether I put my calendar on one page or two, just depending on what other spreads I have in the theme and how many pages I decide to use. For February, I decided to use a full spread for my calendar. It allows a lot of room for me to write what events are going on and allows for a lot of room to decorate around it. I do make a mistake on this spread when I go to fix my lettering of my February title. I didn't wait long enough for the paint to dry before I went in and tried to fix it, so my hand touched the page and smeared it. The first thing I do to try to fix it is go in with my white gel pen, but I also didn't wait long enough, and this just smeared the paint further. So I decided to nix that. So I just went in with some sticker paper to cover up the smear and flourish of the Y. Then I just go back in with the purple paint marker and fix up that flourish. Now I flip to the next page, and the left page is going to include my habit and mood trackers, and the right page is going to be my gratitude log. Usually my habit and mood trackers are on separate pages, but I decided since I was using 2 pages for my calendar, both of these trackers would go on a singular page. I've never done this before, but so far it's working out for me very well. At the top of the page, I have symbols representing both the habits and moods that I want to track. For habits, I have symbols representing reading the Bible, reading a book, brushing my teeth, taking my vitamins, eating healthy, and completing my skincare routine. For the moods I want to track, I like to track whether it's been a joyful, productive, average, sad, tired, or an angry day. For the habits, I'll fill in the corresponding box that relates to each one. And for the moods, I'll put 1 dot on each day, and at the end of the month, I'll connect each dot with a line so I can see how my moods have fluctuated. On the right side of the page is my gratitude log. Just like on the left, I've numbered down the page 1 through 28 for each day of the month. For each day, I'll go in at the end of the day and write a sentence or just something that I'm grateful for. I find it really helpful to have a gratitude log. It helps my moods, it helps me be more productive, and it's something that I started including in all of my bullet journals. The next spread is my meal tracker. I think it's helpful as I go through the month to be able to track just generally what I eat and what my habits are like with this. I have boxes for each day of the month, and each box contained 4 lines. In each box I have space to write what I had for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and what snacks I had. You might see my lines are a little bit wobbly. I don't mind this look. Some people might prefer to use a ruler, but I have a little bit of trouble using rulers. I usually get distracted and go further than I need to go and have lines sticking out, or I completely go off track and make wobbly lines anyway. So I just prefer to use the dots in my bullet journal to make my lines as straight as I can. That's it for my monthly spreads, and now I'm getting into my weekly spreads. For this weekly, I decided to have my boxes for my weekdays on the top and bottom of the page and leave the middle free for decoration. Sorry about my head leaning in here. As I said, I'm still getting used to my filming setup, so I do try to avoid that, but you might see my hair or my head poke through a couple more times. You'll see I have 8 boxes on the page. 7 of these are for the days of the week, and the final box is a space for notes and any events that I have that I need to write down that are specific to each week. Also, here is when my phone died on me, so it does skip ahead in the decoration. However, I noticed before I got too far along, and so only a couple stickers were placed before I noticed and was able to charge it and keep going. Moving on to my next weekly spread, these boxes are a little bit more irregular, and I have a mix of both horizontal and vertical boxes. I like mixing these kinds of spreads in with the more uniform ones. This type of spread lets me create little mini collages between each box, which is something I like to mix in with the other spreads that are purely vertical or horizontal. Here is my third weekly spread. In this setup, I decided to use horizontal boxes for my writing space. You might be able to see in my little note there, I wrote that I wanted it open concept and not to include boxes, but I completely ignored looking at and did my outlines anyway before I decided to look at it and see what I had originally planned. For open concept boxes, I would have used one of my lighter purple markers to do highlights on every other line to distinguish each box. But since I already did the outlines to the boxes, I decided to forego that and just keep going with the style I had previously used in my other weeklies. This setup also had my boxes aligned to the right and left of the page and left the middle space open for decoration, just like in the first spread, but instead of doing it horizontally, I did it vertically here. Personally, I don't like putting boxes in the middle of the page where my writing would have to cross the page, but I don't mind adding decoration that spans the middle and crosses both pages. To help the page lay flat, I either cut the sticker or material in half before I place it, or I place the sticker and then I use an X-Acto knife to cut along the seam. Flipping the page, we're now moving on to the final spread in this theme. In this setup, I decided to use my idea from the previous spread, from the open concepts, to highlight every second line so I'd be able to tell which boxes are for writing information down and which boxes are for decoration. You can see I stick stickers halfway on the page and cut off the rest. This is a really good way to use bigger stickers that would take up too much space. With the cutoff part, I never like to throw those away. I always save them, so I can either use them again in the same theme or stick them in my sticker book so I can use them for later. This is another way of cutting stickers to fit the space you need. I like to use the lines that I've drawn as a guide, and as you can see here, I didn't cut deep enough with my X-Acto knife, so the sticker ripped, but I was able to fix that by just peeling up the sticker, moving it, and recutting with the X-Acto knife, this time using a little bit more pressure. I'd much rather use too little pressure and rip the sticker rather than using too much and cut through my journal page. As we get ready to go through the final flip through, I did go in off camera and add a few more details to the previous spreads, so you might notice little extra details as we flip through again. Thank you so much for watching through this video. As I said, this is my first video, and so I'm still trying to find my exact filming style and editing style that I want to use. If you have any suggestions for me, please put them in the comments down below. I also have ideas for other videos I can do. I'm going to continue with the monthly themes for my bullet journal, but I also have a reading journal, so please let me know if you'd like to see the setups I do for those and the spreads I do for each of the books I read. I also have ideas to possibly do my previous journals and my previous spreads that I've done, so please let me know if you're interested in that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.